Now for the top story night reaction with us, Fox News analyst Andrea Tantaros and Ellis Henican. So Ellis, first of all, Michael Moore, helping the public service unions or hurting them?
Absolutely helping these people. Bill, I understand you're not the target demo. There's nothing he's going to say that's going to convince you. But let me tell you, there are an awful lot of Americans who listen to him and understand that they're listening to a guy who is able to boil down complex issues in a way that people can understand them and can say, listen, the middle class is being squeezed here. You guys are suffering. And if one side has Governor Walker, you know what? Maybe the other side needs a Michael Moore.
Okay. Now, all of the Q rating polls, you know what they are, right?
I do.
Okay. Show that most Americans think that Moore is a loon.
Well.
Okay, they all do. So you're in a court of public opinion trying to get independence on your side.
Yes.
Most Americans think he's a loon. And then he just says loony things like, America's not broke, there's plenty of money, and everybody knows, including you, that's not true.
You've got to understand his role here.
Oh, wait. I'm just listening to his words.
I'm going to describe to you, though, the politics of this. He is revving up a base that is generally supportive of union issues and feels deeply under assault.
Who is he convincing?
Well, what he's doing really is, it's not about convincing, because people are pretty hardened in their views on this thing. What he's doing is energizing. And focusing people who say, listen, we're under attack here. This guy wants to end collective bargaining.
So you say Moore hurts the union cause, right?
Oh, yeah. I think there's a lot of good, decent, hardworking union members that don't want to be involved with this guy. I think they see him coming in and they say, oh, no, here he is again. Look, you pointed out, he's not being honest. We're not broke, so he has no credibility. What he does have credibility on, the fact is, and I got to give him this, he's honest because he's an honest communist. He's an honest collectivist. Ellis, you and I know, when he goes out there and he says there's plenty of resources floating around.
Well, he's talking about private money.
He's talking about taking something that doesn't belong from him. That's who he is. He's being honest.
He might be talking about that, but when he says to people there's plenty of money in America, he's not saying there's plenty of money in the state treasuries or the federal treasury. He's saying there's plenty of money in the private sector, which has nothing to do with the controversy in Wisconsin.
Right. Here's how it does, though. One of the realities is that here's how it does, is that more and more of the wealth in this country has sadly gotten concentrated into fewer and fewer hands. And the counterbalance of that in our society is unions. That's what helped create the middle class. That's what turned poor people into middle class people.
This is a myth on the left that's absolutely not true. And let me connect the dots for you. The state of Wisconsin and the state of New York, in which we live, the state of New York, Albany pays the public sector union people, and Madison pays them in Wisconsin. Their money is usurped by their union, taken from them in the form of dues. They have to pay dues. But whose money is that? Well, it's the workers' money, but where does it come from? Me and you and you.
That's right.
That's where it comes from. So the unions basically take money away from their members. It's not voluntary. The members have to do it. And then they give it to politicians who then turn around and give the union sweetheart deals.
I guess
I'm getting hosed, you're getting hosed, and you're getting hosed.
First of all, union workers almost universally make more than non-union workers. And secondly, they voted in those unions to represent them. And that is the way these people have built lives for themselves.
Know that in public service unions, the money that they're giving to the Democrats is coming from people who don't support Democrats.
Well, that's right, Bill. The crux of this issue is, do unions have a right to taxpayer money? And to what Bill outlined was, this is corruption at the crux of it. On both sides.
You buy politicians.
That's right.
You're buying
corruption is what we're arguing about right now.
Guess
should it be allowed to happen with unions?
So only business ought to be able to lobby.
Well, that's what Jimmy Carter in the Democratic Congress in 1978 pretty much said.
What you guys want to do,
did you just hear me? That's what Jimmy Carter in the Democratic Congress in 1978 pretty much said.
Well, listen,
we're going to take the money out of the federal unions because it's corrupting the process.
You know what? I'll think for myself and let Jimmy Carter handle his own views.
You just threw Jimmy under the bus.
You know
your
what?
liberal pal's not going to
I know you always pick your own word of the day, word of the day, malaka, it's a Greek word. It means a man who relies on little common sense. I think it applies to Moore.
Michael Moore, Malacca.
King of all Malaccas.
All right.
I'll stick with baklava.
There you go.